So what is up, diecast collectors? This is OBB, the diecast news guy, and man, you gotta love Mother Nature. She just always finds a way to just, I don't know, whenever there's a NASCAR race that happens to be on the horizon, Mother Nature just says, oh yes, we are gonna find where NASCAR is heading to. They already did with the Clash, and now here we are with Daytona. But if you guys aren't aware, the Daytona 500 for 2024 has unfortunately been called until tomorrow. So I'm sure a lot of you guys' enthusiasm has kind of been killed. So hopefully you guys are finding different ways to cure your boredom, because we love the Daytona 500. I love it as well. And this is probably going to be an interesting diecast review to actually talk about, since it has something to do with the Daytona 500. It is Dale Earnhardt Sr.'s 1998 GM Goodwrench plus Chevrolet Monte Carlo for the NASCAR Winston Cup Series and RCR Racing. But you guys can see this is not the one that Lionel actually made. This is actually the Revell replica diecast, which I'm sure a lot of you guys are who used to collect NASCAR diecasts like back in the 90s and early 2000s. You probably are familiar with Revell, but if you aren't, then we're probably going to go through a nice little history lesson and looking at this car. But you can see, really cool box, and you guys can pause the video if you guys want to look back at the information that's on this box, which again looks pretty cool. It's a replica, not a raced version, but still is pretty nice regardless. But anyways, let's go and start off this diecast review and the official unboxing of the 1998 Daytona 500 champion, which is finally Dale Earnhardt Sr. 20 years of trying, 20 years of frustration. Dale Earnhardt Sr. finally got it done, folks. And this right here is pretty darn nice. But you guys can see with these Revell cars, which is pretty cool, we do got some nice cool features that we'll get to in a second. But these do come with a nice little plastic base, which might look actually pretty familiar, because if you look at this little plastic base right here, which actually encloses right here, this is practically where you're gonna be getting for the $140 124 Elite Premieres. So got a nice little bit of a throwback that they're adding right there. But this is for a 164 scale, guys. This is not a 124 scale diecast. But getting back to this, man, just wow. The amount of detail that's on this 164 is pretty surreal. But then again, I mean, I don't think people really give Revell enough credit for their craftsmanship and quality control, because look at this, guys. This even comes with a certificate of authenticity. Just shows you, I mean, and yeah, this is not really a rare car by any means necessary. This is one of like 14,400, but this is the diecast that has some really good quality and some nice cool features, and it's probably not gonna, I don't know, like look exactly like the Lionel car, but one thing I will have to say that this car doesn't really look too good. These headlights, they are pretty tiny. These headlights definitely don't look really good, but you see there is some nice texture input that's going on to the Chevrolet Monte Carlo grills up on the front and down the front fascia, so pretty cool. See, the silver is nice and chromy, that nice black, and this car does have Budweiser logos on it too, but no Winston Cup Series logo, which is pretty odd. But the biggest elephant in the room is that this car does have the rubber tires and metal chassis, which is really, really nice. You see this is on a, it says Revell 1997, so don't really know if this mold is actually pretty accurate. But any guys out there who have the Lionel version, you guys are probably aware that this is more of a clean version. I mean, they have made a few several like race versions before with the Dale movie that came out. If you guys have that car, and then we had like I don't know, like this paint scheme has been pretty much recreated for, I don't know, a lot of different times, which is, I mean, it's a pretty iconic car, especially for all you new NASCAR fans who are just now watching NASCAR. I mean, this is like one of the cars you have to have in your collection. So I appreciate that Lionel was able to, I don't know, recreate this car. Even though, if you guys haven't saw on the Lionel version that, on the Lionel version, guys, I think the 3 is actually a lot more lower, which is weird. But for a second, I thought it looked like a Facebook logo, but that's not. That's just a GM logo, Brian. But But speaking of plus, we got ourselves the added plus to this, which is the hood, which I think is pretty nice. But you see it's a plastic block underneath right there. No detail, but the hood is removable, which is pretty cool. So you see all the fine details right there. We do got some details on the roof rails, which is pretty nice. Window net looks pretty nice as well. Just and look at even the steering wheel is black as well, just like Dale Earnhardt Sr. when he drove this car into victory lane at the 1998 Daytona 500. Just such an iconic car, man. But I think the Lionel version probably, I will have to admit, like I don't have a comparison to show this for you guys, but there are some better details on the Lionel version. Like there's no in-memory logo right here, I think. Not for Dale Sr., but it's for, I guess, for someone that was related to this car or one of his crew members or somebody. But I think, of course, we don't have any Winston Cup Series logo right there because, you know, RJ Reynolds, you gotta love him. And again, guys, I mean, if you don't have this car in your collection, I mean, I know this is not like the most like eye-popping car to get, but it's like the Jeff Gordon Rainbow Warrior car. All right, like you have to have this in your collection if you're considered a NASCAR fan, just because it's such an iconic car, guys, and still to this day. I mean, heck, did you know? I mean, God dang, dude. I mean, I cannot count how many times you're going to be at NASCAR racing. You're going to see someone wear a Dale Sr. shirt or someone putting up the 3 for Dale. All right. I mean, this win is one of the most iconic wins in Daytona 500 history or Daytona Speedway history. All right. You're talking about a guy who, I mean, if I had to put in perspective of like how big this win was, it's like, I don't know, it like, some of the greatest NASCAR drivers of all time never won the Daytona 500, all right? You got Kyle Busch, you got Tony Stewart, all right? Dale Sr. was going to be one of those guys if he didn't pull this win off in 1998, but he won it under caution, but I know some people probably, I don't know, I mean, could you imagine, like, I mean, let's just say people didn't have a problem when Dale Sr. won in this car when it was under caution because it was a well worth win. I mean, heck, this guy led, I think, about 69 laps, so isn't that quite nice right there? But, and I'm not really reviewing too much about the car, actually, because you can clearly see what is on this car. But if you guys want to do your comparisons with the Lionel Racing car, go right ahead. I think Lionel Racing did a good job with the car, but REVELL Racing, I mean, they absolutely gave... I mean, this is a pretty solid product, man. I mean, if you guys could find this at any of your flea markets or wherever, I recommend picking it up. But the Lionel version could be better because it does have actual race detail since they took that car from the, they took photos of that car from the RCR museum. But yeah, really pretty darn nice, man. I mean, I would say this is probably a lot better to get than that 75th anniversary car, considering that it doesn't have any of the GM Goodwrench markings on it. But yeah, guys, I mean, feel free to comment below what you guys think about Dale Sr. and how his Daytona 500 win really changed the sport and the legacy of just, I don't know, everyone in NASCAR, guys. But and might as well off the bat, as we're already looking at, I don't know, guys. I pretty much have probably already said a lot to say about this car, but yeah, dude, a pretty nice looking car to say the least. But hopefully you guys are going to keep things rocking and rolling in the comments down below. But this has been OBB, the Diecast News Guy, and this is going to wrap up the Diecast review of the not 2000, but this is the 1998 Daytona 500 raced version replica of Dale Sr. It's number 3 GM Goodwrench plus Chevrolet Monte Carlo for RCR. So yeah, see you guys next time, and yeah. I don't know. Let's just get a good race going on for tomorrow, y'all.